Let this be a lesson to Hollywood. Not every iconic horror movie needs a legacy sequel. The Exorcist Believer is a brand new 2023 horror film directed by David Gordon Green, starring Leslie Odom Jr., Ellen Burstyn, and Ann Dowd. And I didn't have super excitement going into this movie. Obviously, The Exorcist is one of the most iconic and important horror movies of all time. I love that movie, and I've reviewed every Exorcist movie leading up to this simply because I can and I want to. But I still wasn't super excited for this movie. I don't think The Exorcist needs a legacy sequel, but we got one anyway, so let's go ahead and jump into this review. Starting off with the good, and while I don't think this movie is as terrible as everybody else is saying, let's talk about some stuff I liked about this movie. First of all, Leslie Odom Jr. in this movie is really great. I love Leslie Odom Jr. as an actor. I loved him in Hamilton. I loved him in Murder on the Orient Express. And he was really great here as well, so props for his performance. I thought he was easily the best part about this movie. And I love the way he plays this worried father whose daughter is possessed. And then you have Ann Dowd in this movie, and I wasn't sure that I was going to like this character at first because how they were portraying her in like the opening of the movie. But she really grew on me, and she was really good. I really liked her character. I thought she had a really great arc, and I really loved her chemistry with Leslie Odom Jr. When she's trying to help him out with all this stuff that's going on. She was really great. Ellen Burstyn is in this movie. She returns as Chris McNeil from the original Exorcist. I'm going to get into a little bit of how her character was utilized later, but she did a good job when she was actually on screen. She's not in it a whole bunch, but I still think that Ellen Burstyn gave a good performance when she is on screen. And also, I really liked the performance of these two girls that are possessed. I thought that they did really good. Obviously, they weren't nearly as iconic as Linda Blair from the original, but they still gave a good creepy performance during their possession scenes. And there were a few good scares in here, and there was some good emotions from the actors and how everybody acts off each other. And I actually did enjoy the exorcism sequence in the third act, but that's about it for the good. Onto the bad. There's just, like I said, I don't think this movie is as god-awful as everybody else is saying it is, but it's still not a very good movie. First of all, the elephant in the room, The Exorcist did not need a legacy sequel. There's some horror movies that legacy sequel works. Halloween, for example. Candyman worked. The Exorcist doesn't need one because there's really nowhere else to build off of the original story. I know The Exorcist 3 was based off of Legion, which was a sequel to the first movie, but this movie is just pointless in the long run, and bringing back legacy characters like Ellen Burstyn, it just feels shoehorned, all for the sake of, hey, remember this character from the original movie? They're in this one. And it doesn't work. It worked with Candyman when they brought back Vanessa Williams for one scene because the main character is her son. It doesn't work bringing back Ellen Burstyn for this movie, and she's barely in it as well, so it just felt kind of pointless. The main story isn't great, but then again, what movie in this franchise has had a great story outside of the first and the third one? Yeah, I didn't really care for the story. I didn't really care for how they handled this being a legacy sequel. And also, the ending to this movie is complete garbage. The way some things play out in the third act are honestly infuriating. How stupid some characters are acting and how some things are resolved. It's infuriatingly bad, the ending of this movie. But at least it didn't end with some bullshit cliffhanger like Fast X did. So we all know there's a sequel coming, though, 2 years from now. If this movie doesn't underperform and they just pull the plug, I don't foresee them doing that. But yeah, I just did not care for this movie that much. So on from the bad, on to the final thoughts. I can't say I was disappointed in this movie because I didn't go into it expecting it to be good. But Exorcist Believer, still not very great. It's better than some movies in this franchise, but I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on Exorcist Believer. Have you seen this movie yet? Let me know down in the comments what you thought about it, if you have seen it. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.